The Hotel Dorferwirt, owned by our warm and friendly hosts, the Radauer Habring family, has existed in this location on Lake Irsay since the 16th century. Modernized, comfortable, and very quiet, with beautiful views and an excellent restaurant, staying there was a delight. Nearby, some free-range chickens pecked around in the grass. We had noticed that the creche on the hotel patio was missing baby Jesus. During dinner on Christmas Day, which we enjoyed together with the owner's large family, we asked about that. The daughter explained that it was their custom to wait until Christmas Eve to add baby Jesus to the nativity scene, but in all the commotion, they had forgotten about him. By the next morning, though, baby Jesus had arrived. We visited this Christmas market in the town of St. Leonard, nestled below the dramatic cliffs of Untersberg Mountain. We savored alcohol-free glühwein wine together with homemade gingerbread offered by the town's children. Bells were ringing in the local church built in 1644. There was a chill in the air, but we kept warm by wood campfires. From St. Leonard, we took a cable car up Untersberg. The Untersbergbahn, as it's called, takes about 10 minutes and travels 2.5 kilometers, rising 1,300 meters to the summit. The cable car, which holds about 24 standing passengers, swings when going over the 2 support towers, giving riders a thrill. In the film The Sound of Music, the Von Trapp family are depicted escaping to Switzerland over this mountain. The Zepzauer House, seen here below the station, is a sort of hostel operated by the Austrian Alpine Club. It's open in summer for hikers. There's a 7.5 kilometer downhill ski trail from the top on the other side of the mountain. If you decide to ski this side, though, be sure to bring your parachute. Coming down is like coming in for a landing on a plane, but in slow motion. At the Christmas market at Montsey, not far from our hotel, we had baked potatoes with sour cream, washed down with hot apple cider. The church there was the site of the wedding scene from Sound of Music. The altar used to display the ornately decorated bones of saints, but we didn't see any. During the Middle Ages, when this area was part of Bavaria, it was the church of a Benedictine abbey. This diorama shows Mary and Joseph arriving in Bethlehem. Salzburg Fortress was high on our list of places to visit. To get there, we walked through the huge Christmas market at Mozartplatz. On the way, we encountered this water wheel, which grinds flour for the Stiftsbäckerei St. Peter. At 700 years old, it's the oldest bakery in Salzburg. You can walk the 100-meter climb up to the castle, but we chose to ride the funicular. Begun in 1077, Salzburg is one of the largest medieval castles in Europe. It was attacked unsuccessfully by farmers, miners, and townspeople in 1525 during the disastrous, for the peasants, German Peasants' War. There's a spectacular view of the mountains from the castle. We literally could not believe our eyes. The mountains leap out of the plain like a scene from Lord of the Rings. But it's not CGI, it's real. The castle was expanded in the 16th century. This is a sundial on the wall, but it wasn't working on the day we visited. From the old town, we heard cannon booming from the castle on Christmas Eve. It must have been these. Walking within the castle walls is like a time machine, transporting you back to earlier centuries. We had tickets for a classical concert at Mirabell Palace, but we were early, so we took a walk around the area. Of course, there's a Christmas market. We also passed this fascinating arch leading up a hill to one of Salzburg's countless castles. Then we came to Marquardt Square with Trinity Church in the background, built in about 1700. Getting cold and needing to kill more time, we dropped into a nearby cafe that turned out to be somewhat historic. The Café Konditorei First was founded in 1884 and is famous for its Mozartkugel, Mozart balls. They are delicious. The concert of Baroque music on period instruments was held in the beautiful Marble Room at Mirabell Palace. The ensemble performed pieces by Mozart, Marcello, and Corelli, followed by an exuberant rendition of Vivaldi's Four Seasons that had us standing and cheering. Café Tomaselli, Mozart's favorite haunt, was on our way the next morning to Monksburg Plateau, a wide blade of rock that rises 100 meters above Salzburg Old Town. On top is a branch of the Salzburg Museum of Modern Art. To get up here, there's an elevator. To our amazement, we found that the elevator shaft, as well as 2 four-story parking garages, were carved from the solid rock. The views from the top are magnificent. There are lovely woods and numerous castles and fortifications on the outcrop that you can visit. This is us with Hohensalzburg in the background. Outside the museum, there's an art installation called Sky Space. The interior has the acoustics of a shower stall on steroids. We discovered a family inside the tower singing. Family caroling on Christmas Eve is a tradition in Austria. When they finished, Elena wanted me to sing, so I started singing Silent Night, the only thing I know in German. The family joined me, then sang some more for us. Nur das traute und heilige Paar, o der Domin noch gefällt hat, schläft in himmlischer Ruhe, schläft in himmlischer The streets of the Old Town were bustling with tourists. Sternbrau, a traditional Salzburg beer, has a restaurant and small Christmas market popular with visitors. The day after Christmas, our all-day bus tour to the Nordic ski destination of Ramsau am Dachstein was a welcome break from having to drive around the countryside ourselves. Ramsau is about an hour and a half south of Salzburg, and the trip through the mountains was pleasant, especially the winding switchbacks that rise to the 1,000-meter elevation. Ramsau has 150 kilometers of classic cross-country ski trails and 70 kilometers groomed for skating style. We came to Ramsau not for the skiing, though, but for a sleigh ride. The sleigh has wheels that raise and lower electrically, so it can travel on both snow and paved roads. The ride lasted about 2 hours. We stopped halfway at a restaurant for a warm drink. The horses are gypsy cobs from Ireland, traditionally associated with the Romani people. The horses are short and strong, with shaggy hair, particularly on the legs. We were fascinated by the way the horses' ears rotate independently 180 degrees. They were amazingly well trained. They responded instantly to the driver's commands, given in a low voice rather than a shout. He certainly didn't need to use the whip and didn't seem to use the reins at all. The sleigh ride was a fantasy that we'd talked about wanting to do for a long time. It was one of the main reasons we chose Salzburg as our destination. During our stay in Salzburg, it rained off and on most of the time, but Ramsau was bathed in brilliant sunshine and fresh snow. When planning a vacation like this, you never know what to expect, really. It was only by chance that we chose the last day of our stay for the trip to Ramsau, and it turned out to be the best possible day. The tour guide said that the day before they'd had the first snow of the season. We counted ourselves very fortunate. Looking at the rainy weather report for Salzburg before we came, it seemed like the whole trip might be a washout. But it turned out to be one of the most delightful vacations we've ever taken. It just goes to show you never know. In life, you take your chances and hope for the best. This time at least, it all came together beautifully.